Hey guys, Brad from Team Crimson here, bringing you a discussion video. This one is going to be, I originally did not want to do this. I had the idea, but I didn't. I kind of went back on it. But anyways, this is a meta-analysis post the Stargate booster. Now, the reason I did not want to do this originally was because the Stargate booster comes out, and like 2 weeks later, set 14 comes out, and I'm like, should we really do this and do another meta-analysis for set 14? But you know what the hell? So we're gonna go ahead and just do this one, talk about it, and especially it'll help us because we're the lucky ones. We don't have to deal with set 14 for Team League. Our Team League takes place the week before, so we're the very first one. So we do not have to worry too much about set 14. So yay! Okay, so let's go ahead and get on with this. Now, first, what I should get out of the way is tier. What I define for tier 1, tier 1. I will be talking about tier 1.5. I know that there's a very spirited debate out there of whether tier 1.5 even exists, and I would actually argue that it doesn't in most games. However, with Vanguard's weird. Vanguard's a weird game. Vanguard's a good game, but it's a very weird game, and I do think 1.5 exists within this metagame for Vanguard. So anyways, let's go ahead and talk about it. Tier 1, I believe, are the decks that you will be seeing top the most. It doesn't mean you can't have a good player behind them or whatever. You should have a good player behind them. But the tier 1 decks top the most, are very consistent at topping, and are just overall very good, very well built decks. Tier 1.5 are decks that are good and can compete on a level with tier 1 decks. However, you do have to have a very good fighter, very good pilot behind these decks in order for them to actually compete. So let's go ahead and get on with this. Again, this is all my opinion. So, and I have discussed it over with the team a little bit, but to kind of get this list in there, solidify this list a bit. However, your list might be different. That's completely fine. That's your opinion. This is my opinion. That's okay. We're all entitled to our own opinions. So you can take my opinion with a grain of salt, whatever, and form your own. That's fine. So anyways, let's go ahead and get on with this meta-analysis for post-Stargate set. So tier 1, first deck right off the bat, Overlord. Overlord is a scary deck, man. It's obviously can just retire everything, and you've got restanding Vanguards, you've got multiple restanding Vanguards in the Ace and Ziegenberg. You can deal damage with the Purge and get multiple drive checks. You can retire their back rows and stuff through Defeat Flare. You can retire their attacking rear guards through Denial Griffin. You can retire multiple rear guards through the Destiny. Yeah, it's a scary deck, and there's a reason why it's powerful and why it's topping so much. So number 2, that would be Chaos Breaker. It's not going anywhere, guys. It's been tier 1 for a while now. It's still very consistent, still a very, very good deck, very powerful deck, especially with Deluge, especially with the ridiculous numbers that it can gain with Glue Ball. And yeah, the new Chaos Breaker close does help the deck quite a bit, but it doesn't push it. I was actually afraid with some of the new support that it could push the boundaries and go to a tier 0, which we don't want. We don't want tier 0. Tier 0 is bad. but it's not happening. So it's very, very good support, and it's actually support that the deck arguably really needs. However, it doesn't push it one way or the other competitive-wise. So number 3, and that is deleters. Deleters are scary. More often than not, this deck is going to rush the crap out of you, and is going to eventually they'll go into the grade 3, delete your Vanguard, and go into they'll restand the Vanguard 2 with given. The deck is super scary, and then it'll restand some of its rear guards too, because it usually plays 8 stand triggers. And then if you survive that, it's going to go into its stride, and you're not surviving that. It's just a super rush deck, and it's really scary, especially with a given who will restand the Vanguard, and it's also really scary with I don't remember the grade 2's name, but the grade 2 that if it hits, your opponent can't stride. Why? That's some scary stuff. I'm gonna have a drink of my beer. Sorry. Not being rude, just I like my beer. So yeah, that's the third one. Fourth, I can get why some people might argue with me on this, and that's okay. 4, Mega Colony. Mega Colony can be really scary, especially when you don't know what you're doing and don't know quite how to deal with it. But yeah, Mega Colony is scary. It takes away your resources. It can lock down columns so you can't call. It can, obviously not lock, but you know what I mean. And then it can paralyze rear guards so they can't stand. So you're either going to have to keep that column in rest or call a new column there. It is a really scary, can be a really scary deck. Especially if you don't know what you're doing against it. So definitely be careful against that one. 5th, and this is arguing, it caused a little bit of arguing on the team. Thavis, Aquaforce. Now the reason that it has caused a little bit of arguing is I kind of think it doesn't belong in Tier 1 only because of the next option, but we'll get into that in a second. Thavis is so good. It's resist force, just restanding. It's just a brutal. It has a very, very good early game, especially with Tidal Assault. It has slight control options. Restanding rear guards, restanding Vanguard. Yeah, it's scary. It's scary to deal with, and yeah, all the resist units and stuff. It hurts. Chaos Breaker hurts Overlord sometimes. So, it's just a scary deck. So number 6, and the last one on the Tier 1 list, and this is the reason why I actually think Thavis should be off. Victor. Scary crap. So Victor, the only reason it's on here is the new support, obviously, coming out of the Stargate set. Victor is ridiculous now. You've got it, you by drawing off of your, I believe it's the On Stride skill. You've got a grade 2 that constantly has resist. And you have a grade 1, you rest it, which doesn't matter. You rest it, and you can give all your rear guards resist. And then you can counter lock through a G-Guardian that flips up cards. It doesn't matter what, so you can flip up and countercharge, or you can unlock some of your units. The deck is ridiculous. It's extremely turbo, somewhat rush, but you can kill them first stride. If you played your cards right, but more than likely you're going to go second stride into, I always confuse favorite and winning champ, but it's favorite champ. You can go second stride into it, favorite champ, or even the Xeroth Dragon. Game, bye. That's it. So Victor has done what Aquaforce does best, which is the resist stuff, and except it's now applied to the insane brokenness of restanding rear guards and restanding vanguards that has always been a staple in Nova Grappler. So, again, that's why I personally argued Thavis should move, because Victor's kind of taking its spot. But Thavis is still good, and a lot of the team kind of agreed on that. So anyways, that's it for Tier 1. Tier 1.5. So with this one, it's a little bit different. Again, these decks can compete against the Tier 1 decks, but they do have more of a difficult time, and usually if you see them topping, there was a very, very skilled player who knew exactly what they were doing, and that's the reason why they're topping. So Tier 1.5. First off, let's get blasters out of the way. Blasters are good. A lot of people haven't given it the credit it deserves, and it deserves the credit. It's a very, very good deck, very stupid deck still, and I mean, it just won Worlds not too long ago. So, but that had a good player behind it. That's the reason why it topped, and it did so well. He also kind of sacked a little, but whatever. No, but he was a good player. He was a good player. He knew what he was doing. So blasters deserve to be in the 1.5 spot. ZTB, Zodiac Time Beast, as number 2 in the 1.5 spot. It has lost a little bit of favor. That might change with the new set. We'll see. But ZTB has a pretty decent early game and a super powerful mid and late game, with obviously with Split Pegasus or even Avenir Phoenix, and then going into Gear Next, and not to mention that they have some of the most busted G Guardians in the game. They're just a really powerful deck that has unfortunately gone from Tier 1 to Tier 1.5 just because of some of these newer decks that just outclass it almost in every single way. Again, however, that might change. We'll have to see what more of what Set 14 has to offer for it. But we'll see, yeah. So anyways, moving on, number 3 spot is, some people will argue with me with this, and that's fine, Luard. Luard is still a very, very, very good deck. Now, it's kind of outclassed a little bit with the Tier 1 decks because of Overlord, because of Chaos Breaker, even you could argue Deleters a little bit. But Luard shines best in its mid to late game stages. It draws, it's constantly got advantage, constantly got huge hands, and it's a pain in the neck to deal with. However, yeah, it has fallen from the Tier 1 spot to the Tier 1.5 spot, just because of some of these because of these Tier 1. It's kind of in the same spot with the ZTB. However, new support for Set 14 is looking good. So let's see what that has to offer later. So, but for right now, it's still in the 1.5 spot. Number 2, geez. The number 4, yes, I'm losing track, I'm sorry. Number 4, Messiah. Now, Messiah is really, really good. It obviously it can lock stuff still, but it locks their own stuff to regain advantage and stuff like that. But the most deadliest of them all, not only, yeah, you can plus off of Alter Ego Neo Messiah and all that stuff, but the deadliest thing of them all, just like with why Luard is in the 1.5 spot, Luard's in the 1.5 spot with Drag Strider Luard. Messiah's in the 1.5 spot because of Harmonix Neo Messiah. Harmonix Neo Messiah is a freaking scary card, especially not even just timed right. They can just go into that and just win games just because of how good that card is. But anyways, they're also getting new support with Ideal Ego and stuff like that. So, and then they'll have Stark now, and Stark's scary. So yeah. So anyways, now the last spot in the 1.5, and this is the last one I'm talking about. I'm not going to talk about tier 2 because pretty much everything is in tier 2 after that. So the last spot will go to Neonectar, Asha, which makes me personally excited. My wife used to play Asha for a while, and a member of our group, Cody's girlfriend Fran, she plays Asha now. Yeah, Asha has had problems, to say the least, for quite a while. It hasn't been able to be competitive for a long time because it is so rearguard reliant. So if they're not drawing right, if they're not whatever, their rear guards get blown up or rear guards get locked, that's it. You're just kind of screwed. But Asha's been super powerful. It can gain massive columns and just absolutely scary attacks. However, yeah, what has limited has been that. Now they have a grade 2 that's constantly got resist, and they have the blue Asha. I call it Super Saiyan Blue Asha, which is able to counter lock. So you're able to counter the things that previously countered you just slightly, so that you're able to push and able to possibly win those games. But again, it does have to have a good player behind it. It has to have a player that knows what they're doing. But no, it's a very good deck and something you should definitely watch out for. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's it for this meta-analysis. We'll post another meta-analysis when set 14 drops. There's still quite a few cards that have to be revealed from that. But yeah, we'll post another one for set 14. And we're also possibly going to post another video talking about like what are our thoughts of what the new mechanics might be for the new series. We'll be posting more fight videos, stuff like that. So as per usual. So please leave us a comment. Please like and subscribe. We're trying to grow as a channel, so please help us out. So we will catch you guys later. See you later.